Hello and welcome. This is Kathleen Levito, and I will be your host for today's webinar entitled VA Dependent Claims, Just Don't Miss Out on These Benefits. Joining me today is Lynn Babin, Manager of Member and Survivor Benefits at AAFMAA, and Jody Newman, Team Leader of VA Benefits Coordination at AAFMAA. They will be sharing just about 30 minutes of slides for you today. We will conclude today's presentation with a question and answer series. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to enter them into the question bar. ACMA stands for American Armed Forces Mutual Aid Association and is the longest-standing not-for-profit association that empowers military families with affordable financial solutions. ACMA focuses exclusively on the needs of military families and works to provide innovative, personalized, and lifestyle-appropriate financial solutions. We accomplish this by being the premier provider of affordable life insurance, expert investment management, customized residential mortgages, and exclusive survivor assistance services, all for the military community, not for profit. This presentation is educational. It is for general information only. It is not specific investment, legal, or tax advice for any of you individually. Do not rely on this presentation alone to guide your life insurance decisions. Since each individual situation is unique, the life insurance that benefits you the most will not necessarily be the same as another current or former service member. For individual advice, please contact us directly. We produce this webinar series in-house with our own professional staff as a service to our members and to help them better understand the resources that are available to them. I will now go ahead and turn it over to Lynn, who will go over ACMA member and survivor benefits.
Thank you, Kathleen. Before we invite Jody to begin her presentation, I would like to let you know about ACMA's unique hallmark services that focuses specifically on the needs of our military community. Do you know if you are receiving all the benefits and entitlements available to you and your family? Are you applying for them in a timely manner? Do you know what documents are required to apply for these benefits? Our member benefits team provides personal support to our eligible members on understanding military and government benefits, such as the Survivor Benefit Plan, Social Security, Medicare, and TRICARE. We ensure our members' personal and military information is current to include essential documents such as the DD-214 and military discharge papers, marriage certificates, divorce decrees, and VA awards. Every ACMA member has a digital vault on the ACMA Member Center where they can upload their essential documents. These essential documents are required when applying for government and for survivor benefits. You have access to this member center anytime, anywhere. We also provide a personalized military benefit and family information report, which provides our eligible members with the inventory of their documents and personal and military information. Our VA claims coordinators are highly trained experts in VA benefits and preparing VA disability claims for our members and their survivors. You will get to experience this today with our expert, Jody Newman. And finally, since 1879, we provide our unique survivor benefits to every ACMA insured. You will be assigned your own personal survivor benefits representative, someone you will work with to get all the military and government agencies notified quickly, so that survivor benefits are applied for and received quickly. We pre-populate all the government and claim forms. We make it seamless as possible for the claimants to apply for their benefits and entitlements. No other organization offers such support for their members. We are proud to serve you. Now I will turn it to Jody Newman so she can talk to you about VA dependency benefits.
Thank you, Lynn and Kathleen, and welcome to everyone who's listening to this webinar. In my daily work here as a VA claims coordinator at ACMA, we have recently received many dependency questions. So I decided to do a webinar to get the correct information out to a wider audience. I hope you will gain the knowledge and resources that you're looking for today. Our agenda will begin with eligibility requirements for dependency. Once we've covered eligibility, we'll explore the process of adding and removing dependents. From there, we'll talk about the veteran's responsibility to VA and the timelines associated with dependency claims. We'll wrap things up with VA's verification procedures. So let's begin. If you are receiving disability compensation from the VA, you may be eligible for an increased benefit amount. Veterans who have a 30% or higher disability rating can add eligible dependents to their compensation benefits.
Jody, I have a question.
Sure.
What if a veteran doesn't know if their rating is 30% or more?
Good question. For those of you who don't remember what your rating is, I can offer that currently the monthly payment amount for a 30% disabled veteran without a spouse or any children is $417 per month. So if you are receiving at least that amount, it's safe to assume that you are rated at 30% or higher. So let's identify who the VA views as an eligible dependent. Eligible dependents include a spouse, children. These include biological children, stepchildren, and adopted children who are unmarried and either under the age of 18 or between the ages of 18 and 23 and attending school full-time, or were seriously disabled before the age of 18 and incapable of self-support. Another eligible dependent category is dependent parents. These are parents who are in your direct care and whose income and net worth are below the limit set by law. This is essentially the poverty level.
At this point, a lot of our veterans are wondering how they would know if they are being compensated for dependents. What do you suggest, Jody?
Well, the most efficient way is to check on a website called eBenefits. You'll find it at www.ebenefits.va.gov. eBenefits is a collaboration between the Department of Veterans Affairs and the Department of Defense. They share information. It's a secure environment where you can access safely your personal information and perform self-service tasks. Now, the first time you visit the site, you're going to need to register, as you can see on the slide. Once you've logged in, click the Dependents link under My Profile. Ensure that your eligible dependents are listed there. Another good way to see if you're being compensated for dependents is to check your VA award letter. So you're going to want to locate the most recent award letter that looks like the one shown on the slide here. You'll see the payment summary, and usually underneath the payment summary section, you should see a statement similar to, "We are currently paying you as a veteran with one dependent," or it might say, "We are currently paying you as a single veteran." This is your clue to the compensation for dependents. And if you can't find your VA award letter or you don't see the statement I just referenced, you can always contact the VA directly. The main call center number, 1-800-827-1000, is there to assist you with these kind of questions. Or you can visit a VA benefit office. The link to a complete listing of the VA regional offices is shown on the slide. So once you've identified if you have a 30% or greater disability rating and who your eligible dependents are, it may be necessary for you to add or remove a dependent. To prepare for this, make sure you have the necessary documents available. Shown on this slide is a list of documents you may need for the dependency process.
As I mentioned earlier, if you are an ACMA member, you can store these essential documents on the digital vault in the ACMA Member Center. So Jody, what do you recommend to a veteran who needs to add or remove a dependent?
Sure. If you find yourself needing to add or remove a dependent, we recommend doing this through eBenefits. This is the easiest and fastest way to submit a dependency change to VA. As we talked about just a few moments ago, you'll need to register first to gain access to the eBenefits website.
Jody, how about other sources for those who do not have access or are not comfortable with computers or websites?
Yes, I know some of our veterans ask this question that don't have computers and aren't savvy, and that's perfectly fine because there are other ways to make dependency changes, and those include calling the VA at their main call center number there, visiting a VA office, or another option is to work with an accredited veteran service organization. The logos on this slide are just a few of the many veteran service organizations across the country, and these organizations will provide VA claim and benefit assistance free of charge to any veteran. On this slide also, I provided a link to a directory of veteran service organizations, and we can also provide a paper copy of this list if needed.
That's great information, Jody. Thank you. Our members and survivor benefits team regularly receives questions as to what to do in the event of a divorce or the death of a spouse or dependent. What should a veteran do?
This is very important. When a veteran loses a dependent through a divorce or death, it's critical that this is reported to the VA as soon as possible. And the reason for this is that the VA is paying a supplemental amount to the veteran for the dependent. And if that payment continues, the veteran will owe money back to the VA. The longer that this situation goes on, the more money the veteran will owe the VA. And once again, you can accomplish these types of changes by utilizing e-benefits or calling the VA, visiting the VA, or working with a veteran service organization. While you are updating dependency information, it's a good time to review other documents, such as the beneficiary designation on your life insurance policies.
Jody, that is such an excellent point and an important reminder to our audience. Look at your beneficiaries and make sure they are current. Listing a deceased beneficiary will delay the life insurance claim payment. Make sure the beneficiary's name, date of birth, social security number, and their contact information is on file with the insurance company. It's also a good time to get your essential documents organized. Store the updated versions of legal documents in a safe place familiar to your family or your legal representative. As I mentioned earlier, ACMA members can use the Digital Vault as a secure place to store electronic versions of their documents. Jody, I know talking to our members and their families, they find working with government agencies can be overwhelming, and that's what ACMA does. We assist our members with these notifications. But what if some of our members forget to inform the VA when a change occurs with their dependents? What happens when a veteran forgets to take this action?
Well then, for those veterans who do not report dependency changes, they will have the pleasure of working with the VA Debt Management Center. Now, the people at the VA Debt Management Center realize that people make mistakes, and they'll work with you to develop a payment plan. I've heard that they can give you an option to pay off the debt in a lump sum or to have increments taken out of each monthly check until the debt is repaid. But the emphasis is trying to avoid this, so please report dependency changes as soon as possible.
So we've covered actions needed following a divorce or death, but another topic we've received calls about has to do with children who reach the age of 18. Can you explain that process?
Yes. As a matter of fact, VA tracks your child's age based on the date of birth that you provided them. Back when you claimed dependency, you provided them with the child's birth certificate, so they've got it on file. So when your child turns 18, the VA automatically removes that dependent from your award. Now, if that child is enrolled in school full-time after turning age 18, you can update their school information in e-benefits to keep them as a dependent on your award.
Jody, so any child over 18 who goes to college full-time can remain as a dependent on the Veterans VA Award?
Well, there's a couple of caveats to that. For children who are attending college, be aware that if your child is using VA educational benefits, they cannot remain as a dependent on your VA award. That is considered a duplication of benefits. Since the education benefit is far greater than the dependency benefit, it is usually advantageous to utilize your educational benefit. Also note that a child who's attending one of our military service academies is not eligible to be claimed as a dependent on the Veterans VA Award. Now we'll talk a little bit about the deadlines that VA works with. If you report an additional eligible dependent to VA within 1 year of the marriage or birth, VA will normally pay retroactive compensation back to the date they became an eligible dependent. If you do not report the change within 1 year, your payment will only date back to the date that VA received your claim.
So Jody, how does the VA keep track of eligible dependents?
Well, then, first and foremost, please remember that it is the veteran's responsibility to report any dependency changes to VA in a timely fashion. Periodically, though, the VA does send out a status of dependence questionnaire. This letter usually states that the veteran has 60 days to respond or VA will remove the dependent. And this is absolutely true. So it is in your best interest to send back that questionnaire quickly to ensure the VA will continue to pay you compensation for your eligible dependents.
You are so right, Jody. I do recall a few members who have reached out to our team about this status of dependence questionnaire. They were not sure what to do with this.
I've helped several veterans who neglected to respond to this questionnaire, and it created quite a mess to get things corrected. So once again, it's important to update the VA also of any address changes or telephone number changes. You want to make sure that you are receiving any communication from VA to keep your benefits intact. The summary of our presentation today is that disabled veterans rated at 30% or higher can receive additional compensation for dependent spouses or children. We've reviewed who an eligible dependent is and how to get them added or removed from your VA award. The veteran's responsibility to VA is to report dependency changes quickly and to respond to any request from VA. We've covered ways to accomplish these changes, such as e-benefits, calling VA, visiting VA offices, or working with a veteran service organization. And we put together some resources to help you with VA dependency changes. I've also included a link to helpful videos on YouTube that describe how to make dependency changes through e-benefits. So now I'm going to turn it back to Kathleen to see if we have any questions from the audience.
Thank you, Jody and Lynn. That was very informative. We did receive several questions, so let's address some of those now.
Okay.
The first question. I know there are paper VA claim forms. Can I use them to submit dependency claim changes?
Yes, you can still use the paper claim forms. The form for dependency is VA Form 21-686C, and the form for a college student is VA Form 21-674. If you're going to go this route, I would encourage you to work with a veteran service organization. And the reason being is that they can convert these paper claim forms to an electronic submission to VA, which will get adjudicated faster.
What if I was previously rated at 20% and filed a claim which resulted in an increase to a 30% rating?
Okay, this is another situation where the 1-year rule applies. Once you have received a rating of 30% or greater, you can file for a dependent spouse or child. As long as the VA receives that claim within 1 year from the date of the increased rating, they can retroactively compensate you back to the increased rating date. So that 1 year, again, is critical in this kind of a situation.
What is the VA's definition of a disabled adult child? How do I know if my disabled adult child is eligible for dependency?
Now, that's a good question because the VA rules are different than DOD. VA requires that a child's incapacity occur before the age of 18, that it's a lifelong condition, and that the child is dependent on the veteran for care and support. A physician statement is also required for this kind of dependent. Those are good questions, Kathleen. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for answering, Jody. We'll go ahead and break here for now, but you can reach out whenever you need to. Please don't hesitate to ask for help. We do this every day for our military community, and it is our pleasure. You can always register for future webinars and review past webinars at acma.com/webinars. Speaking of future webinars, be sure to join us for our next webinar when our colleagues at ACMA Wealth Management and Trust will present. If you found this information useful, we encourage you to please share it with your friends and family. Our membership grows stronger every year because you introduce those in your military community to ACMA. Thank you again to everyone listening. We look forward to our next opportunity to assist you.
Thank you.